Alrighty then, Successful Indie Author 5-Minute Focus, episode 740, Fleshing Out an Idea. Stanley abandoned me, so I'm in here solo. Let's see if that works. Okay. Alright, fleshing out an idea. When you first get an idea, this is going to be your inspiration. It's going to be, I'm going to write that into a book. That's going to be a book. Great. It's usually a very small snippet. It might be somewhere at the beginning. It might be a peak. It might be the ending. But capture it. Here's it. Now, fleshing out the idea. So, how's it start? Where's the peak? And how's it end? So you go over this mountain. Now, that's the simple story structure. You may have a lot of extra tendrils in there, and it may look like intertwining snakes on their way to the end game. But that's what fleshing out an idea is about. It's about seeing the beginning, seeing the end, and then seeing the peak. And that peak might be really close to the end, or it might be close to the beginning, but then you have other peaks that make it really cool and give you a great flow to the story. But you got to think of those things. You can't say, I have a great idea, here's the kickoff, here's the setup, here's the characters doing crazy things, and then you start writing, and guess what? Then you're halfway through, you're going to be like, oh, writer's block, I can't get there. No, it's because you didn't know the story. You saw the cool stuff, but you didn't see the uncool stuff, like the transitions between scenes, the additional scenes, the way to wrap it all up, a denouement, French. With a name like Martelle, you think I could pronounce that, but I think it's denouement. But and what that is that's where all the threads get wrapped up and it closed. That's like the explanation of everything. In Cozy Mysteries, that's Poirot at the end with the 8 characters there, and he explains, here's how it all happened, arrest that person because they're the killer. So that's the denouement. Now, main characters and what makes them special. So fleshing out an idea. You've got your beginning, you've got your peak, you've got your end. The characters, what makes them special? What are their weaknesses? What is their relatability to your average person? Is it an average person on an extraordinary day? Always a great topic to flesh out and turn into a story. And also take a look at it from the reader's perspective. In horror movies, it's the jump scare, it's the music, it's the impending doom. You've got all this. So as the viewer, how are you going to internalize this stuff? How is your emotions? How are your emotions going to be activated? How is it going to appear? How is it going to come into your mind? And how are you going to lead the reader? So you've got to look at it from the reader's perspective too. Jump outside, take a look in, and see how it's going to be. You might give away too much at the beginning, and they have no reason to keep reading. So say I've seen some blurbs. It's like, hey, here's all this stuff that happens, and here's how it ties up. Like, that's not a blurb, that's a synopsis. And a synopsis is bad because now you don't need to read the book. You know everything that happens. So, key points to an idea. It's got to make sense, as in believable. Even if it's fantasy or science fiction, it still has to be believable within that world. Relatable characters. These are characters that the readers can relate to because they're the ones they embrace and hang on. They're reading to see what the characters do and then doing something that matters. Simple enough. There's a lot of different story structures, but the very, very basic relatable characters doing something that matters in a way that you can believe as a reader. There it is. Werewolves in London, right? Sharknado. Sharks and tornadoes. Believable and characters that you want to follow. Even if it's out of curiosity because they're doing really stupid stuff, but they're consistent with it. Make it a great story. Peace, fellow humans.